All right, welcome into the first ever episode of the Big Blue News Podcast, but episode 13 overall. I'm your host, Chris Beesmore. Before we get into the topic that I'm going to be discussing, I did rename my podcast from the Chris Beesmore Sports Podcast to the Big Blue News Podcast, and we will continue to talk UK sports. So let's get into it. So my only topic of the day today is going to be about Anthony Brown announcing his commitment to Kentucky. Brown is a four-star wide receiver from the class of 2023, according to On3. And he's from the state of Ohio, where Kentucky continues to succeed to get recruits from. And he's now the 12th commit for the class of 2023. So I'm excited about that. Kentucky still has a lot of work to do to continue to get recruits committing to this class. But let's get into it. Anthony Brown is listed at 5'10" and weighs in at 170 pounds. He also plays the slot receiver. So, like I said, a great ad. Today he had his list down to Kentucky, Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma, and Penn State when he was making his announcement. But many people who stay up to date in the recruiting thought it was down to Kentucky and Cincinnati. As for me, I thought Kentucky was going to land him the whole time, and they did. And I'm very excited about this ad. He now joins Shamar Porter as the other wide receiver commit for this class, and also joins defensive back commit Avery Stewart as the second four-star commit. So, like I said, Kentucky still has a lot of work to do. They only have 2 4-stars, mainly 3-star players. So hopefully Kentucky can, get more 4-stars and maybe eventually a 5-star commit out of this class, because that would be great for them. According to Rivals, Kentucky is now ranked 46 nationally for their recruiting class. While it is still early, Kentucky has a lot more recruits to get committed, and they also need to find a QB for the class of 2023 or even 2024. If they don't, they'll have to go to the transfer portal yet again, but the transfer portal hasn't been bad to Kentucky at all. They got, Steven Johnson before Will Levis. They also got Will Levis, who, led Kentucky to a 10-3. Terry Wilson, can't forget about him either. He also led Kentucky to a 10-3 record. Terry Wilson and Will Levis both led Kentucky to a 10-3 record their first season there. I'm expecting to hopefully get Terry Wilson on my podcast this upcoming year for Kentucky. My goal for later on in the future is to at least have one former Kentucky football player on a podcast episode each week and previewing the game with them, and then also, interviewing them, talking to them about their time while at UK. So I'm excited about that. I have big plans in the future, but let's continue to talk about, Anthony Brown committing. Like I said, I'm very excited to get this commitment, and I can't wait to see what these recruits can do in the coming years, because like I said, we have so far, how many did I mention earlier? 12 commitments for the class of 2023. You've got, I can't name them all, I should have listed them, but you've got Caden Moorman now, like I said, Anthony Brown, Avery Stewart, let's see, who else? Ty Bryant, I've named 4, Shamar Porter 5. So this class is looking nice, but it can always improve, and I'm hoping we can, add probably like 10 more recruits, because I think the class of 2022 ended up with like 24 commits, which is a lot, and mainly those were, wide receivers, because we had a lot of receivers from this past class. Dane Key, Jordan Anthony. Hey, Jordan Anthony and Anthony Brown, the connection. But like I said, last year Kentucky had a great class, and hopefully we can continue to build off that. I know everybody's nervous about NIL and Mitch Barnhart. A lot of people are saying that he's right now behind with NIL, and Kentucky needs to go all in for NIL deals, so players or high school recruits can actually commit to UK, because I know Mark Stoops said the other day on KSR's with KSR with Matt Jones saying that they need to build up a fund or set up a fund for recruits to be able to, receive money whenever they come here, because that would help out Kentucky a lot. I think that would help out if that would have helped us out if we got, Tennessee's latest commit, Christian Conyer. He's from Bowling Green. I thought he was going to Tennessee, and I was right. So I've been right lately with my guesses or what I've been predicting. Last summer I was wrong. I thought Jordan Anthony was going to also commit with his cousin, and they would be playing at Ole Miss. But I'm glad that did not happen, and we got Jordan Anthony on our team. I can't wait to see what he can do. He's a duo athlete with both doing football and track, so he's going to be a great player for both sports, and I'm excited to see what he can do. But going forward, I hope Kentucky can continue to get recruits. I was sad we couldn't get Christian Conyer. I know the other day we got Khalifa Keith. That's also another commit that just recently committed to Kentucky. So I'm excited to see what Kentucky can do, definitely going in the future with recruiting wise. I hate that we continue to get 3-star recruits. Obviously, 3-star recruits can eventually, become better. I mean, that's what happened to a lot of recruits at Kentucky. I mean, I think Josh Allen was only a 3-star recruit, and now he's in the NFL playing great with the Jaguars, and he ended up being a great player at UK, having a great career. So, like I said, it's not all bad getting 3 stars, but for Kentucky to take the next step and they want to, go after going to the SEC championship game, they have to start getting 4 stars, which they do have, like I said, 2 4 stars right now with Avery Stewart and now our latest commit, Anthony Brown. So, like I said, going forward, Kentucky really needs to start capitalizing on recruits and getting 4 and 5-star recruits because, like I said, they want to take the next step competing for the SEC championship game, or also even commit or competing for, the championship game for NCAA, trying to get into the playoffs for that. They need to start getting 4 or 5-star recruits. I mean, they did last year with Keontae Goodwin. I think he was a 5-star. He's going to be great this year. Like I said, I can't wait to see what these commits can do from the class of 2022 and then also class of 2023 for next year. But that's all I really had today for today's podcast. I know it was really short, but like I said, I'm happy to be back. My main goal is to at least record 1 podcast episode a week, probably on the weekend, unless, Kentucky ends up getting another commit for football or basketball. And with Peach and Jam coming up soon for basketball, man, hopefully Kentucky basketball can, get some great commits going forward with, we already got Rob Dillingham. I know Reed Shepherd for the class of 2023, but I would love to, get also DJ Wagner, Justin Edwards, Aaron Bradshaw. So, like I said, I'll keep you all up to date, with Kentucky basketball. Like I said, this podcast is going to be mainly covering Kentucky football and basketball, but we will also be covering, other Kentucky sports, and maybe I'll talk some, NBA with, all these former Kentucky basketball players in the NBA. But like I said, that's all I had for today's podcast. If you want to contact me on social media, my Instagram, it is Chris Beesmore _sports. And then on Twitter, it is C Beesmore Sports. But that's all I have today for today's podcast. Like I said, my goal is to have at least 1 podcast episode a week and going forward. And I think that will happen. I think Kentucky football, you'll see a lot of former Kentucky football players on this podcast. So I'm excited to have guests on this podcast. And I think this page will continue to grow. And hopefully you all will watch if you're watching it on YouTube or listen, on podcast episodes on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But that's all I have for today. Have a great rest of your weekend and go Cats.